Okay, hi everybody. For the 182 class, something to get started on. These assignments are all long-term assignments and are due at the end of the semester. I'll get the dates for you. We'll do some housekeeping and stuff like that. I'll send out an email as to when we're going to make this stuff due. But I think the end of the semester is the last week in April, so that's good for now. What's going to happen with some of these long-term assignments? They're due at the end of the semester, but you're going to want to get started on them soon. So there's a couple of things to do here in terms of how you think about images and what or how you can make something look, okay? So the idea here is to kind of open up your vision a little bit and have you looking a little deeper than what things appear to be, right? So for instance, we could take, this clock, right? It's just a clock. But if we photograph it kind of tight, it's the letter O, right? It's a zero, okay? It's a circle, so it makes a letter. It makes the letter O. Okay, so there's a different way to think about looking at things as to how they appear. And so that's your first part of a long-term assignment, is the alphabet. Obviously 26 images, okay? I suggest you make up a little page or make a little note in your phone or something, and you cross off when you have photographed that letter. They can be uppercase or lowercase. It doesn't matter, but you want to photograph naturally occurring objects that when photographed properly, they look like letters of the alphabet, okay? So you're going to want to get going on that, sooner rather than later. Cues can be kind of difficult. Wires look pretty good for the letter Q. Sometimes they're coiled up and they have a tail that sticks off of them. Things of that nature can look pretty good for alphabet. Now you have a second alphabet, but this is created or themed. Okay? Created or themed. So created means, you could take, a bunch of, I got some, some markers here. You could take a bunch of markers and lay them out on a tabletop, right? And you have the letter E. Whichever way you wanted to do that, so they look nice. If you did it this way with a bunch of markers, you'd have the, get rid of my blue marker. Right, if you did it this way with some markers, right, you'd have the letter A. So that would be created, right, that you made this. And again, it can be uppercase or lowercase. People have done everything imaginable to create or theme the alphabet. I don't want to give you too many hints or ideas, because I want you to be creative and come up with something on your own. People have used tools. People have used members of their family and shot from like a second floor in their apartment or their house looking down onto the living room and had laid out a sheet and had people lay it on the floor in all different shapes to make the letters of the alphabet. I've had everything you can think of. I've had somebody that works in a restaurant do it with pizza toppings. I've had people do it with flowers. Some really beautiful images. I've had people do it with, fruit and vegetables and just all kinds of things you can imagine. So 26 images of naturally occurring objects that when photographed create the alphabet. And then obviously here, this is also 26. Right, letters that you create or theme, okay? So 2 separate assignments to create letters of the alphabet, okay? The next one that you want to get started on pretty soon is your long-term light. T-E-R-M. Okay? Now this can be done two different ways, your long-term light assignment. You can pick a location, your backyard, I don't care. Out in the street, be careful being out in the street, but out in front of your house, out in front of your apartment, looking out the balcony in your apartment, or just going out in the street, or just going out in the front yard, I don't care, but it has to be the same picture. So in other words, when I did this with my students, I went across the street behind the neighbor's house, and there's an old like 2-track road back there, and I put a rock on the side of the road, and so I could stand in front of that rock and take the exact same picture. Some people put sticks down on the ground, some people take a little spray paint and put a little dot on the ground so they stand there. Now you might get some snow on it, and I don't care if you're a couple of feet off one way or the other, but try to get the picture to be in exactly the same location with the same amount of zoom. So don't change the camera position. I would suggest you zoom out fairly wide. A lot of you have these 18 to 55 millimeter lenses. I would say around 18, 19, 20 millimeters, make it a wide shot. South tends to look better, or east or west tends to look better. So this is just simply a long-term light study of the same location under different angles of light as the sun travels in the sky, or different atmospheric conditions. We get a little snow, we get a little rain, it's cloudy, it's sunny, that kind of thing. Okay? If you don't have the discipline to do that, because you have to do it like twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week, like 2.5 times a week. I think it says a minimum of 30 images. It's a 15-week class. You got to turn it in, so it's really 14 weeks. So you have to go there like 2.5 times a week. So that's why it has to be someplace that's really easy to get to, your backyard, down the street, at the playground, at the elementary school, by your house, whatever. Okay, something like that, that you can photograph it regularly, easily. Okay, because if it's hard to get to, you won't do it, and then you'll fall behind, and then I'll give you a bad grade because you didn't do 30 images. Or you can do it in one day. It's got to be about an 8 to 9 hour time frame, and I want a picture about, every 20 to 30 minutes. So you can set up a tripod, put the camera on it, point it in the backyard at grandma's house, go inside and make cookies, I don't know, right? Something like that. And go outside, obviously change the camera setting so that the exposure is good, but take a picture every 20, 30 minutes for, 8 to 10 hours. And you can turn that in, so you can do it all in one day if you want to. And we just want to see what happens as the sun moves through a singular image, as the sun moves, as the clouds move, things of that nature. I had one student do it for 24 hours. He set up a timer on the camera. A lot of the more modern cameras have a timer built in, and you can leave it, and it'll just keep taking pictures every 20 minutes for 24 hours. And a student last semester did that. It came out really, really cool. Put it on automatic so that the camera will make the adjustments to get the exposure right. That's fine. I don't care. It's a light study. We want to look at a location and see how the sun and the conditions, atmospheric conditions, change that scene over time. That's all. Very simple. Okay, so that's long-term light. Everybody also forgets that there is a one-page paper due with your long-term light. So make a Word doc and include it in that. And just describe what you did. I don't care if you hated the assignment, write that down. If you love the assignment, write that down. Just something about the assignment, okay? Cool. Great. It was a great assignment, Mr. Emster. Forced me to get out of the house and take some pictures, and I really had a good time. Great. Fine. Write me a paragraph. That's all I'm looking for. Nothing big, extensive, okay? Number 4 is your slideshow. Okay? This is due on the last day of class. Again, I'll get you the dates in another video, and I'll send out an email, and I'll put it in Canvas what all the dates for everything are when they're due, okay? Your slideshows due the last day. I think it's a minimum of 30 images and a maximum of 3 minutes in time length, okay? And you can do that in any program you wish. So a lot of people do it in PowerPoint. You can do it in Google Slides. You can do it in Lightroom. You can do it in Premiere or Adobe Rush. Any of the video programs you can put still images in and have a transition. You must have music with it, and it must have transitions and a title or two, okay? Nothing extravagant. Okay, you may use copywritten music because we're not reselling this, so it's okay to use copywritten music if you like. Okay, but that's due at the end of the semester. But you might want to start thinking about images that you have already, or images that you're going to shoot during the semester that you're going to use. Whatever, I don't care. It can be stuff you shot last summer or the summer before, anything like that. But you're going to put a slideshow together of some nice photography and some music, and put it together in a 3-minute time frame, okay? So the longest it can be is like 3 minutes. I'm not going to mark you off if it's 3 minutes and 10 seconds, okay? I will mark you off if it's only 2 minutes long, okay? So 2 to 3 minutes, something like that, slideshow with transitions. Make it look nice, okay? You'll like it. It's a fun project. Lots of students really like doing it. And I've had some absolutely wonderful slideshows. Okay, then there's kind of an extra credit assignment. We'll call it extra. Okay, an extra credit is object out of context. Okay, so an object taken completely out of context. A number of ideas came up with this one. You know, like you could have a bottle of wine and 2 glasses sitting in a snowbank. Something out of context. Okay, a teddy bear behind the wheel of a car. Something out of context. So something that doesn't necessarily fit. Okay, you might have, you know, like a big crescent wrench and channel lock pliers and some other tools as utensils around a plate. Okay, again, something completely out of context. I don't want to give you too many more ideas because I want you to come up with something on your own. I mean, it's a required assignment, but you'll get extra credit for it to come up with something unique. Okay, so an object out assignment, out of context. So those are your 5 main long-term assignments to get going on right away, okay? And start putting your long-term light in a folder. I'll be on campus tomorrow, soon, and I will make the folders for you, so you'll see all of those folders in Google Drive. You'll see your found letters, your created or themed letters, your long-term light, your slideshow, your object out of context. So you can start putting images in there because they get saved, so you don't have to worry about losing them, okay? So you can start doing things like that, okay? And I have an example here on my tablet here pretty quick. Come back to life. Okay. Why isn't it coming back to life? There it goes. Come on. There we go. So let's find one here. So here's some sunglasses that were turned on their side to be the letter B. Let me get it out of the glare. Okay. So here is, I think that's like a bike rack. So that's the letter C. Okay. We have a piece of wood in the, get it to focus up there we go. A log in the woods that was cut like that, laying there, that's the letter D. Okay, see that okay? All right, cool. You know, like a rack to hold something outside a hook, that's the letter E. Okay, so those are some examples of found letters. H's are really easy, they're everywhere. Okay, that's just legs on a stool. So H's are really easy to find, okay? So I'll give you an idea. There's a very creative letter I. That's the console in a car, and the cup holder at the top is the letter I. So that one's pretty cool. I like that one a lot. That's a really good job. Just, you know, a piece of angle iron bolted to the ground is the letter L. Okay, so you can find letters everywhere, okay? It's kind of up to you. You know, a bicycle, you can make that an M, or it could be a Z. You know, there's lots of things you could do. That's the frame on a bicycle, okay? So there's a little bubble at a child's playground. That's the letter O. Right, it's cool that they have put the kids in the picture. That's kind of neat. I like that one a lot. They came out really good. That's a nice idea. Okay. So there's a really nice one. That's just shadow on the siding of a house, and it makes the letter P. Okay. So you get the idea here of we're looking. There's a really nice Q. That's a pulley on like a farm implement or a lawnmower tractor. Maybe a mowing deck on the tractor or something like that. It makes the letter Q. There it goes, focused up good there. There you go, you can see it. Okay? All right, cool. So that's your letters for your found, what we call found letters. Okay? Now, your assignment for this week to turn in, these are all in the syllabus too, by the way. Your assignment to turn in for me this week, so your first assignment, normally we would do this in class. So we'd go out around the building and photograph this. Your assignment for me this week, which is due next week at this time, are numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. So that's your assignment for this week. So this is due next week. Okay, so today is Tuesday, it's due next Tuesday. Find naturally occurring things just laying around the house or outside, branches, tail light on a car, I don't know, lots of things you can find, and just try and find these numbers, okay? And, you know, I'm going to be pretty lenient on the first assignment, so let's just get out and get our cameras and get going and try to loosen up your vision is what I'm trying to do, okay? So that's the goal here, is to get you to go from passively just kind of looking around, right? That's a clock. Well, we all know that. But could it be the letter O? Or could it be a 0? Well, of course it can, right? I suppose if you turn this sideways, you could make something out of the bell on top here or something. I don't know. Looks kind of like the letter D there, doesn't it? Right? The letter D, right? So you can make something out of it by simply loosening your vision up and going from what we call passively just looking around, that's a clock, to actively seeing what's there. Well, that could be a number of things. It could be the letter D if it's turned on its side like I just showed you. It could be a 0, or it could be the letter O. Okay, so lots of things to do. You know, you can look at geez, so many objects. I just have things laying around here, you know, just even the front of a lens, you know, is the letter O. Well, that's easy. What about if we did, if I put the lens cap on it, maybe if we shot it like that, up close, upside down, it kind of looks like the letter I, right? Kind of. Okay, so there's lots of ways to start looking at things differently. Here's another camera, right? Set it on its end like that. It's the letter T, isn't it? Sure it is. Okay, so start thinking about things a little bit differently and open up your vision and go from passively looking what's there to actively seeing. So that's the goal for this. That's my learning outcome. And that's where we're going with numbers and your letters, is to loosen up your vision and start to get you to be a little more creative with your framing and what you see when you look through the lens, okay? Long-term light, get started on that right away, or if you want to do it in one day, that's fine, okay? Your slideshow, so just be thinking about that. You don't really have to start on that today, but be thinking about what images you're going to put in there. Your object out of context. I had some great things last semester, really fun. Okay, and then this assignment. This is due next week, your numbers. Okay, find naturally occurring objects that look like numbers. Okay, cool. Remember, I've always got my Zoom office hours open. They're open from 10 to 11 on Tuesdays when this class will normally meet. We're hearing rumblings that we may be able to get back in the classroom in February sometime, but I don't know, don't count on that. So this is what I'll do every week. I'll make a short video. We'll talk about it a little bit. I'll give you an assignment and you'll turn it in. And that's pretty much how this is going to go until we can get back in the classroom and be able to dig in a little deeper on some things. Okay, you can always email me, you know, bob.renchler@mcc.edu. Okay, all right, cool. See you next week. Bye.